Hello everybody. Here's a video with one of the questions about how can we customize the size. Well, it could be the size, appearance, everything about these fields. It could be a searchable field. It could be a select box. It could be something like this. However, right now we're going to target this specific one because the owner of the site actually put, they changed the icon here. So let me show you. So the first thing that you do is you go to that element on the page that you want to edit and you right click on it. Right click and you should have inspect. If you're on Linux or Windows, you should be able to see it here immediately for Firefox, Edge, Google Chrome. If you're on Mac, that you can't. So you need to enable, there's something called developer tools or something like that on Safari that you need to enable by default. It's not enabled by default. So you gotta enable that and then you should be able to see inspect. So you go here, you click inspect, and we see this thing here. It's gonna be the same thing for all of us. Okay? It's gonna be more or less the same thing. What I'm trying to show you is this. This is called the developer console, all developer tools or dev tools, whatever. It's the same thing. While I'm moving the mouse cursor down here, you can see that at the top, it's actually highlighting whatever that is. So if I move the mouse here, it highlights at the top in a blue and green area what this element is in the actual visual part of the code. So what it visually represents. So here we're highlighting that one. If I move it up here, it goes up to the keyword optional. If I keep on going up, it's the advanced search. If I keep on going up, obviously I'll get to this add up here, as you can see here. See, so it's all bluish up there, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how when you're developing something, this is how you actually target or quickly target something. So let's go back to this one. And what do we want to do? We want to change the height of this. We want to do it here instead of doing changes here, which is in settings, design settings, custom CSS head, which is where you're going to be saving the code that we're about to do. You're going to be saving it here. We want to do it here because if you do it here, you're just guessing at that point. Just guessing what you're trying to change and it'll take you longer. This way is super fast. So right click the element. Once we have it highlighted, let's play around with it. So we're going to be playing around with it. What do we want to do here? We want to make sure that this whole thing here is the size of the icon. This is just an example there. So we're going to use something called, and by the way, once you select it, you clicked here on the element that you want to start changing. You go all the way up here where it says element.style and you click there. Just click and this is going to happen. You're going to type min hyphen dash, whatever you want to call it, height, and let's start playing with it. So I'm going to put like 30 and just changing it. And you're going to see that the element here starts changing. Holy crap. So yeah, it starts changing. And it's up to you. It's up to you how you want to make it. Obviously, it will look better something like a, I don't know, like a 45 or something. It depends on this icon. I can make the icon smaller, but here now you can see that I was able to make this area bigger. On some pages, that's all that you need to do. And then I'll teach you how you save this code so it's fixed forever. You don't have to change it manually here. On some sites, this is all that you have to do. On others, you literally have to go to what's called the parent element, which is this one. This is the parent of this element because this element is inside that one. So you need to go to that one, and that's where you click here and you do the whole min height. I don't know, 40 was it something, whatever it was, okay, and then you do that. The problem with this is that this happens. See this breaking point here? So sometimes you gotta do it here, and sometimes you gotta do it here, and sometimes you gotta do it on both. On this particular site, I only had to do it on one element, this one. Sometimes you gotta do it here, 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 and here. It depends on the site. It depends on the style that somebody already applied to it. It depends well, yeah, it depends on the customizations that you already did there. Okay, that's with that. Let's say that you don't want to make it bigger. Let's say that I want to change this icon. Basically the opposite. We right click, the same thing. We right click that baby there. And then you see the width here. That's one that we can change. So it starts doing that. See that effect? And then that's it. That's it. That's all that we do. Now, how do we save this so it's permanent? Let's tackle this one first. So what we're going to do is you right click this and then you go to copy selector. I'm going to copy a selector. Then you go to design settings and I paste it at the top here so the owner of this site, when he sees this code, he can actually change it himself. And then we're going to have all this code. That's like a lot of code. Sometimes this happens. Okay, it shows you like a huge, this is called a selector. This, uh, this is a selector. This is a selector. This is a selector. You get my point. These are called properties. CSS, these are called properties, and they have their value. So this property called margin left has the value of 30 pixels. This property called min width has 140, and so on and so forth. So this is the property. This is the value for it. This is a selector. That's all the only three things that you got to learn from CSS, basically. So let's put a curly brace there. And here, inside the curly braces, we're going to put whatever we actually changed here. So let's just copy this and paste it there. Now, because this was forced into the actual code of that, we want to enforce it. You enforce it by using important. You put exclamation important, and that forces the value. Okay, so let's use refresh, and you're gonna see the changes. Okay, there. See, now it's a little baby there. This is one way of doing it. One way. This looks nicer and it's less work that we gotta do. Why? Because if we did not do this, we're gonna just comment this out. We're gonna do the alternative. The alternative is basically the opposite of all that. We want to make these things bigger so they fit this icon because for some reason you don't want to change the icon. Okay, that's no problem with that. We right click here. We see this one here. We do min height 40. I think it was 40 or something like that. That's I'm trying to center it vertically speaking, so it would be like 45 more or less. Yeah, 45. Okay, so we got that 45 there. That means that all three need to be 45. So we're gonna grab all the input elements. We got a 45 for this one. This one has an ID. That's good. If it has an ID, instead of doing all that stuff there, we just do this. And we do min height 45. So important, so it forces that. Let's go to keyword. So they will look nice and neat. Their ID. No ID. Okay, so when it doesn't have an ID, we have to do it like this. You right click. Actually, let's test this. Min height 45. Okay, there we go. This is one of those cases that I was talking about. That you gotta do it here, but you also gotta do it somewhere else. So that's that one. Let's look for the parent. There's the parent. Min height 45. So that's that one. And let's do it for this one. Oh, I didn't save it. Why? No, I did not. 45. So there, okay, so there we have two. See how you got to think about, what should I be doing? So now we're doing the opposite. Instead of just making this one smaller, we're making all of them bigger. So right click this one, copy selector. Then we put it, we already know that this one worked. Okay, so we're going to put it here, comma, and then paste all that. And then comma again, because right now we're selecting that one, but we also got to select this other one that has the min height 45. So we right click that one, copy selector. Why am I putting them all comma separated here? Because they all have the same value. They all have the same property with the same value. I don't want to triplicate everything. So we got that one there, and now we're going to do also this one. Let's see what happens if I do the min height here without breaking. Uh, okay, so it grew, so that's good. So then that means I can do just copy selector, and let me just put it here, comma. So we got four, two here. This one with the ID. Okay. I don't know if you want to do that one. Let's save it for now. A huge selector. I, I th this is the easiest way, not the most elegant or properly done way of programming. Like I wouldn't do that. Okay, so we missed this baby. Guessing it's because of this one. 5. Okay. I gotta target this element before it gets clicked because it changes after you click it. 2. Go to it. Here it is. This one. Okay. So let me just copy this, paste it here, save it. See how that one goes. There we go. Beautiful. So we got these three. Let's do a select because I've seen that people have an issue with the select boxes. The select boxes has to be the parent. So it would be something like this one, most likely. Um, check 30. What I do is I start making the size bigger so I know that it's selecting. It's not that one. Let's go to button here. Let's do a min height. Like 50. There we go. Okay, so 45. And that's looking nice. Selector. Put a comma here. You know what? I'm just gonna start doing this. Many commas in it. Oh, that's a big monster here. The comma. That monster. Go. 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 Why am I doing it like this? Because I want to show you the importance of actually analyzing what you're about to do before you start coding. A lot of developers that don't do that, things just go to hell real fast. So you gotta analyze. Here's two ways of solving the same problem, making sure that the icon on this little baby looks nice. You can either make it small or you gotta standardize basically everything in here. There's the. I'm guessing I saved the the button somewhere in there. Did I save it? See a button here. See a button here. So let me just copy this. Copy selector, comma, category button. Oh, it is the first one. Yeah, it is the first one. Okay, so we already had it. With this, let's save it. See how that's gonna go. Yay! Obviously, if you're picky like me, you want to make this one too that same size. Let's test it here where we're doing all this testing. And there you go. So you have submit button. Let's copy the selector again. This is not the most efficient way of doing it, but it works. We're doing a completely different way. Let's refresh, and voila, there you go. Now you got this, or we can comment this out. Okay, and then we show this, and you get both options. See, now they're smaller. The icon is small. I mean, the icon is smaller and everything looks same. Or do all those steps and you end up with this one. The owner wanted it based on what he wrote. He wanted them to be bigger. Okay, that's one thing that you can control there. There's other things that you can control. You can control the colors. You can control the how, the font when they start typing, how it looks, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. There was another question about, well, this concept applies to all the select input and whatever elements you have everywhere, including if they're not those. Okay, so if you, for example, let's say that you want to make this specific button bigger, then what you do is you right click on it. Okay, there we have. We test it. We're gonna test it right now. Look at this. If I hover over strong, the elements here, it's only highlighting the text. I want to make the button bigger in width. So we gotta go up, and apparently is either this one or this one. Most likely this one. So I'm gonna do a min width because we want to make it longer. Okay, let's do 100, and there you go. Okay, it starts changing. It's the same thing. You right click this, copy selector, or because if you notice that it has an ID, just copy the ID. You put it here somewhere. I want to delete this, but it's for you to get an idea. And then you say here min with, I don't know, 200 something. We refresh, you can see that this button is going to be bigger. There we go. Let's say that you want to make your logo smaller. So you right click that. The logo, I know it has an ID of website logo. You can see here. But a lot of times when you upload your logo, you're like, whoa, why the hell is it so big or so small? It doesn't, no, it's not nice. Go to the website logo there, and let's start adjusting this. So we're gonna say max, but in this case max because it's too big. If it were too small, then you do min width. Okay, so max width, and we're gonna do like 200 or something. There you go. And then the only thing that you gotta do is grab website logo here, which is an ID, and we put it here. Again, you use max width because you want to tell the code, hey, there's a maximum of size they can go to before I stop you. Okay. Min width is, hey, there's a minimum size that you can go to before I stop you. You can't go below this so much small icon, whatever. If your logo is too small, I recommend uploading a bigger one. Okay, and if it's big, I recommend uploading a smaller one. Why? Because of SEO reasons. This is just a trick, a visual trick, but the actual SEO recommendation is for you to upload a little. This like if the area that you're using for the logo is 250 by 250, upload something like 260 by 260, like a little bit over it. Uh, Mainly because of how it would render depending on the device that's going to be looking at the site. A little bit over. Um, with the exception of if you were talking about like 500 um by 500, like that's a really big size. So you can keep it like that. If the area that you want to show it, it's going to be like that, and it will render properly on all devices. But if you're around 100, I would say 100 to 200 and something, like almost 300, you can push it a little bit over, and that would still look nice and render properly, especially on Apple devices. So okay, so we got that there. We got the website logo. We put the size here. We're gonna say, what did we say here? Oh, we said 200. Okay, I'm gonna say 200. I'm just gonna save it. And there you go. Now you got the logo like that. I'm gonna remove this because this was not the intention. or just, you know what, for the owner, I'm just going to comment this out. And when he sees this, he should be able to comment whatever he wants to. Like he just needs to remove this and this, and that those effects will kick in. I hope this video helped in everybody, so you can actually target specific things. Let me refresh here. Specific things on your site. If you want to change a specific paragraph, like for example, this happens a lot. Happens a lot like that. I hate this. I hate when this consumes like 1/4 of the whole area, the visual area that people actually see the moment that they go to the site. So the proper um, solution is either making this bigger, and what you can do is change that 7 to 12. This happens. Additionally to that, you can lower the size of the text. So here we go. And you can do this until you actually get to that point. It depends on the text that you have there, okay? So you can do something like that. This is one. Two, do note that this is actually configured here in design settings. So if you go to home page, here title, text, and all that. Here's that font size that I was just changing right now. Here's the content area that we're talking about. So this show you this space is 60% of the total that it could be. That's why you're seeing 60% here. So if I do 100%, actually if I do 100% there, and from this 59 I go to 49, just to give you an idea, you refresh, and voila, you get more or less the same effect, okay? And you start going down and whatever. And you can align it, center, left, whatever you want. But let me put it back, 60 and 59. And that's it. So hopefully this video will serve and help you in knowing that you are able to do a lot of things with the homepage and other pages yourself, and control the way that they look, the sizing, the position, all those things through. That's it. Think positive and big hugs to everybody.